So this is the final tutorial, which is going to teach you how to support your child in backing up their iPad each week. So part of their homework and responsible use of their iPads is going to be to back up their iPad each week on the computer. So you've already created a new iTunes account and you've already created a new library. You've also already turned off the automatic syncing so that when you go open the iTunes account, you will be able to manually manage, your son or daughter will be able to manually manage their iPad in iTunes. So the first thing to do is to once again hold down the Shift key if you're a PC user or the Alt key if you're a Mac user, and then click on the iTunes icon. You've already created your library, so you're just going to choose the library. So I've called mine Lauren's iPad. Yours will be your son or daughter's name and their iPad, and then you'll click open. So this is what you have to do each time you go to back up or plug in the iPad at home. Alright, so there's their empty iTunes library. So to check which account you've signed into, you go to Store, the Store tab, which will be near the iTunes, and you'll just check. So your View account. Okay, I'm going to assume that this is the account that I've set up for my son or daughter. This is the account that you've set up for your son or daughter. If it's not, then you'll click Sign Out, and then you'll just be able to go to the same place again to Store, and you'll be able to click Sign In. Sign In will be there instead. So I'm happy with that. I've got the right account open. There are two things I have to check. And then once I've checked those two things and I know I've already turned off the in preferences, in iTunes and preferences, I know I've already turned off preventing the iPads syncing. Okay, so I've already checked that. You won't have to do this every time. The only thing you have to do every time is to hold down your Shift or Alt key, open the library, and make sure it's in the right account. So now I've done those two things, I can plug the iPad in. Okay, you might have heard the little sound come up there. This won't come up for yours unless you've got Dropbox, which we're not asking the students to have. So I'm just going to press cancel on that one. Alright, and you'll see over here the iPad appears. So everything else appears the same. If you have not deselected, if you've not selected the part in preferences that said for you to not have the iPad synced, then it's going to start syncing. Okay, and that's what we don't want. We're all good here, nothing's come up. So I'm going to click on my iPad here. Alright, and this has got all of my information. This is a summary. Here's some information about what I'm doing with my iPad, all of the apps I have here. So we'll teach you about this in another tutorial, because the apps on your child's iPad are going to be organised into different pages. So here I've got 5 main pages, and that's about the same that your son and daughter, son or daughter, are going to have. I've also got my music. So at the moment, everything here is just information, and if you go to On This iPad, that's where you'll find all the different sorts of things that you have on the iPad. Okay, so we'll go back to the summary, and this is the most important screen, and this is what your son or daughter will have to do every week for homework. So they go into summary, and it says automatically back up to iCloud. Now this is backing up the most important data on your iPad to iCloud. So we will teach the students at school how to pick the most important data to back up to iCloud. iCloud only has 5 gigabytes of space, so this is going to be mainly for photos and important information and documents. But each week the homework will involve them clicking on this part here, which says automatically back up to this computer. A full backup of your iPad will be stored on this computer. They'll be stored in the library. So if anything goes wrong with your son or daughter's iPad and they have to restore it to factory settings or they have to reboot it, then they'll always be able to plug it back in and back it up, put everything back straight back on their iPad, so it'll be exactly the same as when they last backed it up. So I really, really want this to be every week because of the amount of work that's going to be stored on your son or daughter's iPad. And that's as easy as that. Once you click on this, all you need to do is to click on Backup Now, and that's just going to go through a backup process. You want to click on Backup Apps,